Yeah, it's very Terrence Malick style.
It's not just Terrence Malick style.
Okay, all right.
It's time for class.
All right, You Won't Be Alone. This is a movie from 2022, written and directed by Goran Stolevsky. And I remember that name. I think this guy's going to do big things. Why don't we give some initial impressions? So, Tyler, what's your first impression of You Won't Be Alone?
Hauntingly beautiful, and I couldn't say it better myself. This movie does not get enough love. Compared in contrast to The Witch, because it deals with witches, and so The Witch is a lot more superficial, as in the sense of it literally plays out like a folk tale, like if you like opened up a storybook. This one is a little bit more existential, and there's a lot more thought that goes into the individual that is afflicted with the curse of being a witch. And it goes into a direction that I did not think it was going to go into. Great shots. I never heard of this movie until you brought it up onto the Wheel of Destiny, and it was just, oh my God. I was blown away.
Nice. You watched it this morning?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Me too.
It's a perfect 6:45 a.m. film.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get more into my thoughts, but initially, after I watched, I was like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, it was
Joseph,
great.
how'd you take this movie, and You Won't Be Alone for your first watch?
I'm on the fence.
Okay.
It is ripping off Terrence Malick. But at the same time, I did enjoy the story of it. A witch.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming of age, a witch movie, where this person who was born in essentially born and sacrificed to be a witch by her own mom, doesn't want to live that life of a witch. That's a very interesting and unique story. And this movie is not a horror movie.
No. It's got some gruesome elements, but definitely not a horror.
It's way too whimsical to be a horror movie. I also think that at first I was like, I feel like I'm missing a bunch of lore. When Freddy Krueger showed up,
Maria Krueger.
Yeah. When Franny Krueger showed up.
God.
That makeup, it looked like Heidi Klum costume.
Oh yeah.
You know what they say, the early bird catches the worm.
But other than that, like the whole idea of how they take identities was pretty cool and pretty gruesome. It is Terrence Malick if he made a horror movie.
Yeah. That's a great tagline for this.
I love it. I'm confused. So you came out
as Joseph.
That's why. That's all. Depending on how this conversation goes, I will like fall on one side of the fence or the other.
So I watched this in 2022 when it first came out. I might have even heard of it on Find Your Film or Cinematics. So it might have been Bruce or Eric or Greg that recommended this. This is a very unique movie. And honestly, back then, I don't think I'd seen Tree of Life one time and it didn't stick with me. I was too young and had a like abstract sort of way of telling the story. So the actual like beats of the story, you got this young baby and you got this, she's going to be, but not before she's turned into a witch. So
yeah.
I completely forgot about that from the first time. I didn't even realize that it was the baby and she was in isolation for so long. And in this second viewing, watching it for the show, the story is great. The idea of this Macedonian folklore that this is how witches operate in their culture. And it really does have more of a narrative structure than I remember it having. I thought it was just stream of consciousness. And but Tree of Life is way harder to connect those dots about what's happening. I think this tells a more straight ahead story.
Sure.
And it's a story of discovery. It's almost like an alien visiting Earth because she has no exposure in her first 16 years. And if you were an adult that got turned into a witch, you wouldn't have to learn how to walk and learn what sex is and learn what the place of a man is in society and the place of a woman is in society. She learns all of that from, has to learn that along the way, also learning how to be a witch and how to learn how to
not only be a witch, be a woman.
Exactly. And it is so interesting the way this story is told. And you have having multiple actors playing essentially the same character at different parts of the journey. I just can't imagine what it would take to direct a movie like this, because we've seen movies about Wendigos, we've seen movies about maybe not so much about skinwalkers or whatever. I've seen movies about Bigfoots and Mothman prophecies and all this stuff, and it's like, but
Our version.
Yeah.
We've seen Hocus Pocus.
yes, we have it, the lore.
I would give this a solid A. Hauntingly beautiful movie. I was unnerved for the most part. I think I was like on the edge of my seat because I was scared for our main character being found out about a witch.
Okay.
Beautifully shot. It's a very great coming of age film. And yeah, solid A from myself.
Okay, 8 for Tyler. Joseph, after our discussion and you're being fence riding about riding the coattails of Terrence Malick into this movie, where do you come down on it?
Like, the story is very much an A because it is very unique and different. I think this movie was put in an unfortunate position. It couldn't find its own style, so it had to take
Okay.
from something else.
And for that, it gets an F.
But yeah, it is an A. It's an A. And it is underseen. I think it's a very well put together movie, and the plot is very well
Realized.
told to us. Yeah, it is good. It is good.
Cool.
It is an A.
A? Give it
Yeah.
also an A? Okay. I'm going to go A- on this.
Oh my God, A-.
Tyler, what the fuck? Why do you react if anybody gives a grade that's not the same, exactly the same as yours? It's a shocking thing.
Well, I'm shocked.
Love
I say.
it. Thank you. Perfect answer. Yeah, I think the things that took me out of it a little bit was a little bit of just a little tiny little colorings, little dabbles of cringe through some of the performances, and it seemed, one of the things that gets under my skin, and everybody's got the little pet peeves with performances. Part of it for me is, inaccurate car scenes.
Yes.
But the other thing that really gets under my skin, and it reared its ugly head in Us. I just recently rewatched Us with Brianna. When the little kid Tether is turning his head every time because he's like, oh, this character's creepy, so he has to like turn his head back and forth
Sporadically.
Yeah, like
Abnormally.
and it's almost like the director needs to reel that shit in, calm that down. There's too much of it. You're leaning on that one bit too much,
All right.
It's like
Someone's already made this joke. Somebody already made that joke. You can't use that.
You can't do it too much. That's from the Burkhart brothers. You can't do too much, and it wasn't nearly as much with this one, but there was some of it where you're like, okay, you're leaning too. I get it. She's new, but so that was a little bit jarring for me.
Well, yeah, when Numi was running around,
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, all right, that's enough of that. But not too much, didn't take me out of it too much. The movie as a whole, severely underseen, severely underappreciated. I'm going to keep my ears open for Goran Stilevsky. He's a prolific writer, but I hope that he becomes a prolific director because this was really exciting stuff. And now I know about North Macedonian witch lore, so we could put that feather in my
Something
cap.
you've never
Thanks a
would
lot.
ever thought of.
Yeah, can't wait. We're gonna collect all these worldly lores like the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
We got trolls, we got lore, witches, and who knows what the next one's gonna be.
Class dismissed.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you later.
See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.